In Apple's entire event today, they pretty much avoided saying the word AI. Instead, they opted for Apple Intelligence, generative intelligence, and even machine learning. But let's go over some of the most disappointing and actually cool updates they made to their products, starting of course with their watches. Now, usually every time Apple hits a big number like 10, you see a bunch of cool new updates for the product, but I think the Apple Watch Series 10 updates are actually quite lackluster. A big sign that nothing really big changed is that they spent at least 5 minutes talking about how they made it so that the glass is more easily readable on different angles. It's also more bright at different angles, which I guess is a problem some people had. One cool thing they did do was they made it more thin, and there's a good reason for that. Essentially, they're trying to push people to sleep with their watches on. And one of the big reasons for that is it can now track sleep apnea, which is apparently a big problem that a lot of people have. And it's actually cool, although they only mentioned it in the live stream and never put any of that marketing material on the website itself, other than the fact that just saying you get health updates while you're sleeping. And the new thin form factor does seem like it'll help you sleep a bit better with the watch on, and the fact that the new Series 10 will be able to charge up to 80% in 30 minutes, which seems pretty good for not leaving your watch to charge all night. And yeah, a lot of the rest of the watch presentation, they talked about the fact that it can now tell the temperature of the water you're in, and a couple of new things for snorkelers, as well as if you're a surfer, you'll be able to track the tides wherever you're surfing. Other than that, and a couple of new watch faces, there weren't too many big updates to the watch, so yeah, that's probably why they're focusing on all these small random niche things. Next up, we have a couple of changes to the audio part of Apple. Of course, like they mention every single year, they made AirPods a bit more comfortable for everyone. The AirPod 4s comes in two different models, one with active noise cancellation and one without. They also have this new thing called conversational awareness, where they think if you are having a conversation, they will lower or pause the volume of the music you're listening to while you're talking to somebody else. And yeah, as weird as it looks, you can now charge your AirPod case with one of the watch chargers if you have it, so it finally supports like Apple related wireless charging. Now, one update I was waiting for was the AirPod Max update, where they released maybe the AirPod Max 2s or some big update to it, and they completely dropped the ball on this one. Essentially, you're getting the exact same AirPod Maxes, except they added like 4 different colors and the ability to charge with USB-C, so you're not walking around with an extra lightning cable like I have to all the time. Now we're getting to some of the good stuff. The AirPod 2 Pros actually got an insanely cool update. It seems like they're really leaning into the health angle of things, because you can now get hearing awareness stats on your phone with the new AirPod Pro 2s, and they also have a feature that is automatically designed whenever you're in a high noise environment to turn the noise down so you don't actually hurt your ears. They solidified this idea in the video by having a bunch of people playing loud instruments while wearing AirPods as if they were the ones doing the concert. But one of the coolest innovations that I think went under a lot of people's radars, which I actually think is insane, is they allow you to do an actual hearing test using your AirPods and your phone. And as somebody who has had to get a lot of these professionally done, I can't tell you how much money this is probably going to save and how cool it is to have this available to you, just in general, to be able to do this anytime you want. And that's not the only thing they're trying to do when it comes to health and hearing loss and hearing in general. You can apparently also use your AirPod Pros as a hearing aid, sort of like an over-the-counter hearing aid as well, which is absolutely insane. I think this is a really big change to have something that is your daily driver for just listening to things to be able to solve such a big health issue in your life. And honestly, I think it's really cool the fact that Apple's actually doing a lot of this health-related stuff in general. And personally, I think these updates are probably the biggest things. I'm going to be buying a pair of AirPod Pro 2s because my AirPod Pros are completely garbage, and I want to be able to do these hearing tests. And now it's time to talk about the new iPhones powered to you by none other than Apple Intelligence, not to be confused with AI or ChatGPT for that matter. First off, the non-Pro models have this cool new color, which actually looks kind of stunning, I'm not gonna lie. And the new camera for these regular non-Pro iPhone 14s sort of look a bit jarring, but I'm sure people will get used to them. They also have the same action button that the Pro models of last year's phone come with, so you can customize that to be whatever hotkeys you want. But they are also adding this brand new button they call camera control, which lives further down. So you know where your lock button is? It lives a bit further down than that. And it's sort of like this haptic touch thing. You can use it to open the camera. While you have the camera open, you can apparently use it to zoom in and do a couple more features on the camera app. Now, of course, they talk about how all this is powered by their new A18 chips. And I swear they use the exact same graphic every year for every single announcement. But TLDR, it's a bit smaller, a bit thinner, a bit lighter. As you can see here, it's a lot faster than last year's model, which is kind of crazy. And of course, it's faster than the competition. Next up, we have this guy who looks like he he was vacationing in Greece when they asked him to film this. But essentially, he's the guy that's going to talk to us all about Apple Intelligence for the 18th time this presentation. A preface to what they are about to tell you they're going to do with all your data is that they are storing your data a lot more privately, so hopefully nothing shady like them training off of all your data and other YouTube videos will possibly happen. But they have some exciting updates powered by ChatGPT, which is weird because they keep using Apple Intelligence. For example, if you're sending an email and you want to change the tone of it, you can now click a button and it will send it in a more friendly tone. That way, the next time you're trying to tell your boss off, you can do so in a manner that doesn't get you fired without severance. It just gets you put on a PIP. Also, if you want to write a review about something but absolutely suck at it, you can click a button to make sure that your 5th grade English vocabulary is upgraded into something a bit more legible for the rest of the world. And this is where I think the majority of their innovation went this year. That is the automatic generative AI emojis. That's right, you type in a prompt and it will generate a custom emoji for you. I don't know where they came up with this idea, but it is hilarious. It's probably the first thing I'm going to test once this iOS update comes out. It's not even really clear how this update is going to be rolled out, whether it's going to be a part of the phone that has Apple Intelligence or whether older phones with a new update will be able to access these. But yeah, going back to Greece, he reminds us that never again will we have to spend time trying to find the perfect emoji to send to our friend groups. Now, the next update that is actually kind of cool, I don't know why they didn't lead with this, is they can take all your data, all your videos, all your photos, allow you to actually type something in like Candace doing a flip, and it'll go through all your data and you can now create a collage based on all those photos. So I guess that actually is a cool way to organize or find images on the fly if you need it. And I can see this going far, but there is a lot of privacy concerns there as well. Oh yeah, speaking of game changer features that happen to have a lot of privacy concerns, they can now take your notifications and actually go ahead and TLDR them or give you a summary. That way you don't actually have to open the notification to get them. If you don't want Albert to know that you read his message, you can just look at the preview, I guess, and get the information that way instead. Oh yeah, and as you can imagine, Siri is now completely powered by GPT pretty much, which means it's not actually going to be shit anymore. I can actually ask Siri a basic question and not just have it respond with the same, sorry, I don't know that answer. It is also kind of funny that Siri was the first sort of like AI chatbot model that became popularized, and now they're outsourcing the AI part to someone else while also talking about Apple Intelligence at the same time. Anyways, I digress. The next couple of updates are all about the fact that you can use the camera to do things like find images, sort of like Google's image search thing. And if you thought there was going to be more to the camera, you are correct. We're going to get to that in a sec. Believe me, they spend at least like 20 minutes talking about the camera features. One of which is that you can literally use the camera to live share what you are seeing or what is happening whenever you are calling 911. That way they get a bit more insight on the situation. And now finally, we're at the iPhone Pro. And apparently that will have the largest display ever on an iPhone, coming at a 6.9-inch display. And of course, just like last year, it is made with titanium. The A18 Pro chip is very good. The GPU is also very good. And of course, as you can imagine, the camera is also extremely good. In fact, this whole thing was shot on an iPhone. You can also shoot 4K 120 FPS slow-mo clips as denoted by the entire segment using the Weeknd's new music video shot entirely on one of these new iPhone Pro Maxes. And yeah, this is just 5 minutes of Abel singing while they shoot the entire thing in 120 FPS 4K resolution. And of course, like they mentioned 20 times in this presentation, everything is moving towards carbon neutral with the new 100% fiber-based packaging. And as the Apple event ends, we pan over to Tim Cook, who is now in a new day standing in the exact same spot he has been standing in for the past 2 hours. And of course, he leaves us off by saying all the Apple products are better than they have ever been and also better than all the competition, so you should 100% buy them. Hope I saved you 1 hour and 41 minutes of your time, because I sat here and watched this entire thing and was kind of disappointed with most of the updates, even though some of them were pretty cool, like the hearing stuff. So yeah, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and I'll see you on my live stream.